Welcome, everybody. Clown Planet News, 8th of August, 8/8/2025, approximately 5:25 in the afternoon, East Coast time. Welcome to the program. Again, happy St. Dominic's Day if you're in the New Rite. Happy St. John Vianney's Day if you use the pre-62 calendar. It's the fourth was mixed, it was swapped, and the day was swapped. I don't know why. Anyways, let's get right to it because there's a lot of stuff. It's Friday dumping day. Mike Huckabee, asked by Fox, are Palestinian civilians being shot at these humanitarian sites where food is being distributed by the IDF? Ambassador Huckabee, no, they are not being shot. The only time this happens is when a large group overruns the Israeli position. Thou shalt not lie unless it's for Israel. Everyone's creaming him about this too. Just lying through his teeth. War criminal Benjamin Netanyahu, we are not going to occupy Gaza. We are going to free Gaza from Hamas. Did I say death camps? I meant happy camps. Gaza will be demilitarized and a peaceful civilian administration will be established. One that is not the Palestinian Authority, not Hamas, and not any other terrorist organization. Just our terrorist organization. This will help free our hostages and ensure Gaza does not pose a threat to Israel in the future. Translation in the English, they are going to kill everybody in Gaza. They're about to you talk about the Holocaust, the current Holocaust that's going on right now, and start calling it the Holocaust. Not just say ethnic cleansing, literally tell people it's a Holocaust going on, because that's what it is. Maybe if TV starts even saying that. I mean, great Googling me. Talk about that. We're going to go in and kill everybody in there. Pretty much. China tells Israel to stop plans to take over of Gaza City. Quote, Gaza belongs to the Palestinian people. Foreign Ministry Spock said, gravely concerned about Israel's decision. But don't worry, Canada said it too. There's been a ton of people that have come out and said, don't do this, dude. Well, unless you're in the U.S. Everyone in the U.S. is like, yeah, what do you think all those GOPers went over there for? They want to be the front line. They're having popcorn with us right now. Huge wildfire smoke plumes engulf homes in Turkey's Çanakkale. There's also fires in LA, right now too. I could probably swing a dead cat, hit somebody that didn't know that Turkey had a fire today too. So trying to get a little bit more global stuff. Trump, that guy and that guy officially signed a peace deal. Leaders shake hands on agreement. Armenia forges special partnership with the U.S. to develop transit area for 99 years. And afterwards, the guy on the Trump's left recommends him for a Nobel Peace Prize again. Yay! In War Pigs news, Trump okays ops on foreign soil. We'll get to that too. To target cartels. So essentially, war with Mexico. 69% of Ukrainians want peace deal ASAP. Russia says Putin-Trump meeting will happen in the coming days. Netanyahu confirms plan to take over Israel. AIPAC attacks Representative Green for calling Israel actions genocide. MTG, March of the Gathering, should actually just call it, like I said, Holocaust. Transcript reveals Israel chose to starve Gaza as war strategy. Shocker. Not too shocked if you've been following, but to annoy me, they might go, what do you mean? Print that link and send it to your Zionist friend or, any Protestants that just, think Israel is the greatest thing in the world. Or, well, I'll die for Israel. I won't die for my homeland, but I'll die for Israel. Lebanon says it will disarm Hezbollah. 7 more killed as Israel strikes on southern Lebanon, the peace-loving Israelis. 10,000 more killed in Syria since jihadists took power. Translates after U.S. did a regime change in Syria. It's been nuts. Yay, we do that all the time. That's our favorite thing. It's our pastime, regime change. RFKJ, we're developing a universal jab at NIH, which is a vaccine that addresses the entire phylum of viruses. So you remember yesterday they said that, we're getting rid of the jabs, getting rid of mRNA. Don't worry. We got one that's even better, a universal one that comes in. We believe it's going to be effective against not only coronaviruses, but also the flu, which is the same thing. And it's going to be much safer, a much more effective vaccine. Yeah. You guys jab it first. And you know what? Let the hoi polloi jab it. Make sure it's the real thing. And then we'll inject it in your arms first. See if you guys, want to do it. Come on up. Step on up. Who wants to be first? RFKJ, come on up. DJT, come on up. This gets into the idea. Remember the whole Nigel Harari, talking about the great thing about everything was being able to get these stuff under your skin so that we could have this one thing. And that was about Stargate, talked about that too, being able to program all this stuff, being able to just get it in there and they can program whatever it is to upgrade in the system, the iOS in a sense, the operating system. This came in probably about 30 minutes ago. Trump is removing IRS chief 2 months after he was confirmed. Billy Long, a former Republican congressman, will no longer serve as the tax agency's head. Treasury Secretary and Soros and gay guy, Scott, gay guy with 2 kids, kind of like that last guy that had 2. Oh, yeah, we didn't like Buttigieg. But this guy, he's our guy. Scott Bessent will oversee the agency as acting commissioner, according to the U.S. official. Remember, Soros' right-hand man, Scott Bessent. We like that Soros guy because of MAGA guy. He's taking over the IRS right now. Here's just, yeah. Now, Gunther, cheerleader Gunther, who literally retweeted a fake AI video of RFKJ talking about getting rid of the jabs, saying that it causes stuff like gayness. He's like 100%. Dude didn't even click on the video to see if it was real. He's loving this. Now, again, abolishing the IRS would be great. Abolishing the income tax would be fantastic. I would be the first one to be like, that's the great move right there. Do I trust Scott Bessent or Trump about this? Not. I don't trust them as far as I can throw you guys. America's CEOs come to the White House bearing gifts and flattery. We 3 kings of Orient are. Lavish gifts, public flattery, and hefty domestic investments have been the currency of influence in Trump's Washington. Apple CEO Tim Cook, Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang, and the leaders of other highly valued tech companies have forged alliances with President and future King DJT through sometimes fawning spectacles and delicate behind-the-scenes conversations. The administration has rolled out industry-friendly executive orders and exemptions from policies that threaten these owners' multi-trillion-dollar businesses. I think the last guy brought gold. Tim Cook. I think he brought a gold or something. What did he bring? This glass comes with a Corning line and was engraved for President Trump. It's a unique unit of 1 at the base, and the base comes from Utah and is 24-karat gold. I love gold. Mystery leaker haunts J.D. Vance scrambling secret Epstein meeting with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. It turns out that Vice President J.D. Vance was involved in a high-level meeting of Trump administration officials to discuss Jeffrey Epstein controversy, according to new reporting from CNN. Some reason no one got locked in and signal on that group. I was Epstein's butler for 18 years. There's no way he killed himself. Trust Today tells of life in disgraced financiers' inner circle, which included Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, and Woody Allen. There's a laundry list of people, so it's not just those 3. Pam Bondi was a Fox News regular. She was literally on there every other day. Then the Epstein scandal happened. It says that she's boycotting it now. I think I saw AG Pam Bondi has all but disappeared from Fox News in recent weeks after being all over the network during the first few months of the Trump administration. By the way, all the show notes, everything I'm looking, all the links, they're in the show notes right now, directly underneath chronological order. Use them, check them out, forward them, send them out to others. Putin tells Trump he'll halt war in exchange for eastern Ukraine. Russian President Putin has detailed his demands for a ceasefire in Ukraine. The Wall Street Journal reports that the sweeping proposal demands major territorial concessions by Kiev and the push for global recognition of its claims in exchange for a halting to the fighting. Putin told Witkoff he would agree to a complete ceasefire if Ukraine agreed to withdraw forces from all of Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region, according to officials briefed on the call. Russia would then control Donetsk, Luhansk, and as well as the Crimea Peninsula, which it seized in 2014 and once recognized as sovereign Russian territory. They're breaking U.S. laws. Marjorie the Gathering, or MTG, or Marjorie Taylor Greene, whatever you want to call it, rips AIPAC for lobbying for genocide in Gaza. And, I'm glad she's doing that. Good on her for having a spine to do all this. Marjorie the Gathering accuses AIPAC for breaking U.S. laws on Thursday after the lobbying group took members of Congress on a fully paid trip to most favored nation, the United States of Israel, or just Israel. Responding to One America News, the Matt Gaetz show to AIPAC's claims that she had now joined the ranks of Democrat Republicans of Congress like Representative Ilhan Omar and Rashid Tlaib, with the same vile rhetoric and voting against the U.S.-Israel alliance. Don't say anything against God's chosen people now. You can't say anything. They will take you down, put you through the blender, and kick you out. But good on her. And it's the whole fake two-party illusion thing. Oh, you're against Israel? Well, you must be a Muslim. Shut up. It's, again, it's not just Protestants, too. A lot of Catholics are for this, are Zionists in a sense. I like Steve Ray. I love his books coming in. That man is a big Zionist right now. Sorry, he's blocked me 3 ways a Sunday just because I said Israel's a terrorist organization. Why wars don't end anymore. From the New York Slimes, in a pessimistic area, the temporary pause to fighting has become the most anyone is trying to achieve. Why doesn't end anymore? Cha-ching, money. Israel's plan to take over Gaza City stirs fears for civilians and hostages. They're about to get nuked. Israel said Friday will intensify its 22-month war with Hamas by taking over Gaza City, stirring fears for Palestinian civilians and Israeli hostages still held in Gaza, renewing international pressure for an end to the conflict. Israel's air and ground wars killed tens of thousands of people in Israel, displaced most of the population, destroyed vast areas, and pushed the territory towards famine. In unrelated news, DJT is getting ready to put a casino up there for Trump Towers, Gaza City, and will be hiring in the not-so-distant future. Biblical sea turns blood red, sparking apocalyptic fears that God's plagues have returned. Biblical Sea of Galilee has mysteriously turned to a vivid blood red, leaving locals rattled and warning of a bad omen. Stunning visitors watched crimson waves rolled onto the shore, which some comparing the eerie transformation to the 10 plagues God inflicted on the Egyptians in the biblical narrative of Exodus. According to script, you're Catholic, you should know this. There are some photos of it. It doesn't look like the entire Sea of Galilee is like that, just part of it, because that looks blue out in the distance. Officially confirmed the bloom of green algae turned the waters red. That says the official. So there's always explanations. Saudi slams Israel's plans to take over Gaza. It's not just China. Saudis, everyone is going, don't do it, man. Germany suspends arms exports to Israel over Gaza plan. Nearly 10,000 people killed in Syria since U.S. Regime change, which we already talked about before, but here's the article from the Cradle. Since diversity-friendly jihadis seized power. It's the jihadis we like that we're helping or something like that. Don't think of it too hard. Not Blackwater or Wagner. Americans in Gaza are 100% mercenaries. There is a difference, and what's going on today will lead us to a much darker place. And just think about, just on top of that, the darker place thing. It's like you hear about the stuff going on in these I keep thinking happy camps, in pretty much the prison camps for the immigrants. And you think, all right, they're beating the snot out of people. They're making them kind of like sleep like sardines. It's almost like, if you look at the dimensions, it's elbow to elbow. There's no room in there. Deprivation of sleep, bad food, living on a toilet, whatever it is. There's even talks of guys filming people on toilets, things like that. And you want to go, is that us? Is that how we're supposed to be? Because if you're cheerful, you're okay with that, you might want to look in the mirror and reassess. Are you really part of the good guys on that? Not saying good versus bad on here, but that shouldn't be what we should be cheerleading for. We shouldn't be like, hey, this is good. No, arrest and get rid of if that's the case, especially if they do something bad. But they're still human beings. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't just be killing people because it's your political team is saying, hey, that's the way we're going for that. You Pound voted for that, not exactly the way to roll. Geopolitical bombshell: India officially rejects crash-prone F-35 made in America for Su-57 made in Russia. Delhi Defense procures from U.S. at a standstill. I think they also got the code from Russia on how to work this thing too. Top UN court says countries can sue each other over climate change. EPA decides that CO2, also known as carbon, isn't a danger anymore. Woohoo! So they can reverse carbon emission standards. You know, the whole thing about you having to take your car in and all that nonsense that you've been having to have to do depending on what state you're in, how much the emission standards go. I don't know if they just take your car back and just look at it, they turn it on, turn it off, and say, hey, you passed. But hey, EPA finally reverse said CO2 isn't a danger anymore. Thanks. Thank you. And it's we win. Skeptics win. Endangerment funding acts. Truth finally prevails in the climate wars. Today is a monumental win for climate skeptics. And then the link, this goes to the EPA announcing that there's a full press conference, about 55 minutes. If you want to watch it, go for it. But basically, it's going with the pivotal shift in America's approach to climate policy, one rooted in evidence, not ideology. Yay! Trump-themed burger joints owner detained by ICE might be deported regardless of political beliefs. So this guy is a big Trump. It's the Trump Burger, the owner of Trump Burger restaurants in Texas, may be deported after overstaying his visa. You can't make this stuff up. Ronald Baini, a Lebanese national, owns several Trump Burger locations in the Houston area, overstayed his visa and is going through immigration proceedings, ICE told KHOU in Houston. He entered the country legally in 2019, but he was supposed to leave by 2024. He was arrested on May 16th and is going through immigration proceedings since then. In clown news, Steve Bannon is reportedly planning a 2028 presidential run, according to the Daily Mail. I sent it to a couple of friends of mine who also does not like that and goes, hey, your boy's running for elected monarch in 2024. All this is a political stunt. Oh, no, political stunt. Publicity stunt. It'll just bring in more viewers to the war room, and then things like anybody that runs for president, really, that is just think of it, not for their local government first. It's a publicity stunt. I mean, anybody that says, you know what, I can run for president, I'm going to fix things up, you need to run from those people. Run for local office, run for your governor, run for a school board seat. And you think, why? I have an interview coming up on Tuesday with a lady on the school board. We'll talk about why you should do that. Even if you're a homeschooling fan, get in there. Why? Because you can help fix those kids and not let them get taught commie stuff. Anyway, moving on. Sorry. CNN admits there's no one even close to JD Peter Thiel Vance for 2028 nomination. JD Vance is a shoo-in for the GOP nomination 2028, according to Henry Enteen, the respected number cruncher for CNN, one of the few sane voices on the network who isn't constantly TDS screeching. And of course, because he's the VP and everyone's going to be talking about him, and he's owned by Peter Thiel. Dude, that's a 90%. Book it. He's going to be Peter Thiel will be president in 2028. A first look at Kamala Harris's book is priceless. Her book is named 107 days, because that's how long. She didn't write a book about the 4 years of being VP. She wrote a book about being in a position that she was never going to win ever in her life and cashed in on it. In entertainment, Kristi Noem fires back at South Park for mocking her looks. The Homeland boss responds that the brutal episode, quote, only the liberals and extremists do that. I've seen a couple of clips. It's hilarious. I didn't see it all, just one short clip. They ended up rating Dora the Explorer live show, saying there's a lot of illegals going to be there, and it's Dora the Explorer. It was hysterical. I was telling my wife, I think she was crying. She was laughing so hard. Again, that was just 60 seconds that I saw and I was able to see on Twitter. Pete Hegseth promotes his pastor CNN spot and his call for Christian domination. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth openly touted his alignment with self-described Christian nationalist Doug Wilson, sharing a new interview that his pastor did with CNN. Wilson is from Idaho and spent decades building an international network of churches. Spoke with CNN investigative journalist Pamela Brown and reported released to Friday share his views for a theocratic America and how his views are gaining some traction inside the Trump administration and the Pentagon. I meant Pentagon. Pentagon. The segment was aired online on the account that captioned full CNN segment on Doug Wilson's crusade for Christian domination in the age of Trump. Don't worry. I mean, you guys want Christian domination. They're going to want Protestant denomination. It won't be, they're not asking to be Catholic or anything like that. But, I mean, again, if you run for governor and you get that mindset of one nation out of your head, because the one nation idea is an Ingalls idea. Look it up. It was a Frederick Ingalls idea. It was the 19th century nationalism. We'll try to get, like I said, a bigger deep dive into that and explain that more to you. But Ingalls wanted the one nation thing. They couldn't get it over there. They came over here during the Lincoln administration. And guess what they did? The Bellamy Pledge of Allegiance, which, by the way, that started out like that. That's how you pledge allegiance. Now, one nation idea was to get the kids indoctrinated into thinking this was one nation idea. It is not one nation. Hence the State of the Union. It's not the State of the Nation. It's State of the Union. Each state is its own country. State is synonymous with the word country. In 1861, the state of Georgia, where Atlanta is, state of Georgia, declared itself a Christian nation. 1861. You could do that today, but no, nobody wants to do that. They want to federalize everything. We're all communists in a sense, because we want to have the communistic mindset of one gigantic blob instead of decentralization. And it's not as each state has centralization in each state. You don't want the federal centralization in that. One gigantic blob, USSR light in a sense. You want to be USSR junior, keep saying one nation. That's all. When you have 50 different presidents, each state, each president is the commander-in-chief of their army, the National Guard. Just look this stuff up. It's easy to find. This moron can do it. You can't do. But again, you want to declare your country a Christian nation, a Catholic nation. Get involved in it. Get in a state house. Start doing that. Declare Texas, Alabama, whatever. We're going to be we're going to be a Catholic country. They're going to, if people want to leave, they'll leave. People will flock in. They'll flock in. That's federalism. That's how you do it. Thinking DC is the solution is literally bonkers. And it's also, I think, lazy too. Trump directs military to target foreign drug cartels. Again, we just pretty much announced that we're going to go to war with Mexico. How many shows you ever see, like Lioness, I think it is, when they go in and do an op in Mexico and they're like, you get caught, we're disavowing you. Now, just send in the military down there, drone bomb anybody you want. What happens when you kill the wrong people? Trump signs directive that could deploy U.S. military in Mexico. We didn't get the congressional Congress on that one. Huh? Fast-moving wildfires threaten L.A. County again. I mean, it happens. It's a fire zone. Right? Fires happen there. Hurricanes happen there. Tornadoes happen in the Midlands. It depends where you are. McDonald's hash browns with a side of sticker shock on social media. What was it? It was a pricey $4.35 for hash browns. Because we're told that food's gone down. The dollar menu is now a $20 menu. Cars, coffee, and clothing are posed to get pricier with new tariffs. Americans are paying more for appliances, home furnishing, toys, and shoes than they were a few months ago, and should be and could soon face higher prices on more goods as the Trump administration's latest round of sharper tariffs kick in. My wife was asking for Mexican Coke the other day. I said, I think the tariffs kept them from coming in. Don't have to worry about tariffs though. The Philadelphia Eagles prices for NFL season opener revealed as fans rage at $18 a beer. Chicken cutlets are $17. Here's a little photo of that. Which I remember talking about being in St. Louis for a game one time. Some friend of mine worked for the the Red Sox, and got me tickets. And I told her, so let's get a hot dog and a beer. And it was like, it would have been $40 for a hot dog and a drink. I'm like, forget it. I'll just we'll get something later. The prices are nuts. You can't bring a family to a game anymore. It costs an arm and a leg just to get in. People are convinced popular holiday hotspot is where celebrities are catching Lyme disease, as Justin Timberlake becomes latest A-lister to be hit by the bug. This is just perfect Clown Planet. Snowballing trend. Adults using pacifiers to relieve stress. From New York Post. Stressed adults rely on pacifiers to soothe themselves. Quote, I feel a sense of safety from childhood. The report says TikTok is sucking up literally with videos of adults pacifying themselves in traffic, at work, or in the throes of burnout. In the comments section, I took out at the Bennis, one user swore, I just used an adult pacifier that hasn't moved my teeth. That hasn't moved. My teeth been using them for 4 years. Another double down, just get an adult pacifier. I use one, and the ADHD tip, it works. At risk of just seeing it, I'll click on the new tip, new study tip. If you have ADHD, buy a pacifier. Wowzers. Mexico approves fracking to reverse sagging oil and gas production. And finally, ramping up the water is wet comment section of this. The CDC reveals children have highest intake of ultra-processed foods. Great googly moogly, you don't say. What do you think McDonald's and them all work for? And then quickness, and then say like right now, you go after school, if kids are in school, then they play in soccer or something afterwards. You got 30 minutes to get them from from home to practice. What are you getting? Highly processed food. This is easy to figure out, but yeah, maybe, hey, Mark, Mark, I think you and I need to get some adult pacifiers, dude. We'll get some. I'll see if there's any available, and I'll get back to you guys on that. Anyway, have a great weekend. Keep in touch. Comment below. Keep in touch. Email me if you want to. You know my email address. It's on the links. It's in the website. SenseFidelium.com if you want. Tell me how bad I am. Comment below. I've seen the numbers go up. I don't know if we're winning yet, but it has gone up a little bit. So keep pounding away. Keep commenting, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Hit the bell. Got some more videos coming out today and tomorrow. Obviously, almost finishing editing one of the books. I've been slacking on the books. I apologize. Working on that. Anyways, have a great rest of the week. God love you. Don't forget SenseFidelium.tv. Get the app. It's a great way to help fund what we do here.